Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. It's a cold day out there, perfect for tuning in and getting inspired by today's show. Whether you are at home, in the office, or commuting, we've got you covered with the latest newspaper headlines. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's make the most of this cold day together. Please do well to also visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Stay dry, stay motivated, and let's dive into today's headline. I am Henry Ikwibike, and our guests today for this segment are Barrister Evans Ufeli and Cyril Abako. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning.
To Enterprise Morning today. All right, so quickly, let's start off our newspaper review segment with the Punch newspaper. Interestingly, we have what seemed to be a breaking news we started yesterday, but we'd love to have it before going into other trendy stories on the Punch. And it's about the fire outbreak at Dangote Refinery. Well, we have it authoritatively from the Punch newspaper, from the Group Chief Branding and Communication Officer, Dangote Industry Limited, Anthony Chiejina, who confirmed the fire incident, but did say that it's been contained, the minor fire and its affluent treatment plant that broke out in the early hours of Wednesday. The news was trendy yesterday, and Nigerians had a lot to say, especially coming from what Dangote had said about allegations on the IOCs. I don't know. Do you think conspiracy theory is at work again? Let me start with you, Cyril Abaku.
It's not conspiracy.
Okay.
Yes, I think that anybody who is a market watcher, if you're a strategist for a brand, if you're a market watcher, you can put, even if it was coincidental, even if it was circumstantial, for me, from a commercial point of view, there's what the lawyers call prima facie evidence that all is not well, clearly.
All is not well?
Yes. What I mean is, you know that Dangote had gone from accusing the IOCs of frustrating their operations. That was around Saturday or Friday when that news broke. It was over the weekend. It took until Tuesday for us to see headlines saying that Federal Government have summoned the IOCs and faulted Dangote's claim. Now, I didn't follow the details of that meeting, but the headline said that the government was faulting Dangote's claim, because I was here on Monday, I think, also when I said that I couldn't blame Dangote nor the IOCs for whatever issues Dangote was having, because there must be leadership. Okay. If you have a local brand that has the capacity to become a global force, a global name, being maltreated by foreign investors, it is the duty of government, of regulators, to step in and level up the field. Because I was of the opinion, we saw it happen in aviation when they wanted to fight airpiece out of the federal government came in. So I was also expecting that instead of waiting, and I said, before even Dangote spoke, the regulators, NNPC, who is even in charge of Dangote, there's this NNPDC or NPRDC also. All of them are there. Before Dangote even spoke, they should have known if Dangote was buying crude at $6 above global market price. Didn't they know? We're not getting receipts. Now, we have gone from Dangote accusing the international oil majors to federal government saying that no, that's not correct, as it were, to a minor fire outbreak at the effluent treatment plant, also ETP, right? According to the statement we saw yesterday, nobody was hurt, and the refinery is still operating at maximum. Now, if you're in business marketing, you know when you study marketing, you don't study marketing in terms of marketing business, and so you study military strategy. Marketing is warfare. Marketing, you get things like outflanking, overwhelming. Those are things you learn marketing. This to me comes like a warning.
Okay.
This to me comes like a warning. You know when they say a warning shot. So if the enemy is not wise enough, then anything that follows from that point is up to the
But do you agree to his submission? This is coming like a shot.
You know, it is said in business that capitalism is the new evil because capitalism knows no morality. or any form of religiosity. I will blame the Nigerian government for allowing itself to be so weak to the extent that foreigners dictate the pace or the natural workings of things within the country. Dangote will have to earn his own experience. He's very new in the field. The demons that occupy that stratosphere couldn't have been asleep and allow you to come and gloss over their territory. Okay? Now, our indigenous investors are now threatened. Okay? Talking about Dangote, talk about Allen Oyema, okay, who floated an airline, got a flight from Nigeria to Gatwick, wanted Heathrow, was not given, based on the, talking about capitalism too, and had been consistently attacked subterraneously. Nobody could come out and say, okay, this is exactly who's attacking who. But you will see it in my village, we call it Oshin Pureka. That is when somebody steals and you're not able to hold him here and you held him here. You understand? So that is where we are. This is not to say that the IOCs are responsible for the fire outbreak. No, I won't subscribe to that. There's cause and effects. And the cause comes before the effects. Okay. It's after investigation, you're able to trace the source of the fire, whether it is malicious, whether it's as a result of the visitation of God, or it's just by a mere act of negligence from the safety managers in the factory or his employees. So until we see that report, we cannot say that the IOC, because Dangote is not having problem with them, therefore anything that happens will be attributed to him. That proverb that people say that the witch cried in the night and the child died the next day, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it, because if you begin to think like that, you will run into errors.
But funny,
we are expected to just follow empirical analysis and empirical evidence and find a nexus, if any exists, between what has happened and the person so accused.
Cyril, funnily, when we talk about these IOCs, we make them look like they are spirits, angels, from above. But majorly, these stakeholders of some of these IOCs are Nigerians. So when we talk about the IOCs, and I'm asking, do you think a Nigerian with a stake in some of these IOCs would deliberately want to, be a clog to the wheel of progress of Nigeria, of course, using Dangote Refinery as a conduit?
Well, so let me start by supporting what Barrister said. If I had given the impression that the IOCs were the ones that caused the fire at Dangote, but you see, yesterday when Jejile's statement came out, it was just 2 paragraphs I saw. It was very brief. I'm not sure I saw the source of the fire, and I'm not sure I saw anything about investigations taken to unravel, which means those are 2 questions that must be answered, right? And until that happens, I agree with Barrister. Spirits might have gone there to cause the fire. Who knows? The second question to be asked is this: Nigerians, if they are part of, you can only be part of the IOCs. I mean, come to your question now. To the extent that maybe you are just you are an employee or you are a lawyer or something, a consultant, but essentially Shell, Chevron, Total and so on, Total Energies, all of these are actually more or less national assets of their countries. One is French, they call them the 5 sisters. Any. One is Italian, one is French.
Ajip is Italian.
Is Italian. I think that's one that became Any. So there's British Dutch, there's French, there's American, which I think has now become Indian, Chevron. There is a total. This is how these are European powers you're dealing with, please. Even if they have a Nigerian CEO, essentially these people have been made to think like nationals of the country that those companies come to represent in Nigeria. And
they are the extension of imperialism.
Yes, they are.
That is what is left after the exit.
Yes.
So is it fair to call them economic espionage?
No. You see,
Not necessary.
I wouldn't. You see, what they call tradecraft in espionage. Tradecraft meaning your spying, the architecture of your spycraft that enables to see things without being noticed. That's tradecraft, right? Tradecraft takes a lot of elements to happen, including these big companies.
Okay.
Tourism, all kinds of things are used for tradecraft. But we won't. You see, the crux of the matter is that both the refinery and the federal government, particularly, have a role to play. And there are a lot of Nigerians who will say Dangote is a monopolist or whatever it is. Yeah. But our concern here is nothing to put Dangote on trial. If there is evidence or grounds to check out the fact that a Nigerian company is being overrun or in our own country by foreign interests or by another person so consistent, what is government there for? Their work is to move in there, investigate, and put things where they ought to be. So the issue is, it is because of government absence that we begin to put
Your government is weak now.
This is the reason why we begin to say, now who caused that? Could it be this? Could it be that? But ideally, that by now we should have even begin to get preliminary report of what really caused that fire at the effluent section of the refinery, and whether indeed, anything untoward happened. But until this has been done, how and what even caused the fire? There was a fire on Sunday at Christ Embassy Church. There are fires
are inevitable.
They happen either because of electric fault or negligence or anything like that. Said. But what caused the fire before? Nobody has said anything about that. In fact, I'm not sure if apart from the refinery whether police has briefed or anything. We've not seen, and this is almost a day after. So you create grounds for rumors of fester, which is not the way it should be. If government is weak, then that will become strong. Rumors can become strong. Solution can become strong. So there is need for them to properly come into the matter and bring closure to what really happened.
All right. So while we wait for developing stories on that, let's move on to the next daily. We have the Vanguard newspaper. The big story here says cholera. Federal government shopping for emergency vaccine. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have insecurity, 2,600 killed, 50 communities record 135 attacks in Benue, and that's coming from Amnesty International. From pen to profit, federal government reaffirms commitment to free press. On the bottom strip of the same newspaper, protesters want declaration of emergency in Rivers State as Fubara alleges protesters attempt to bomb hotel. This is very sensitive, if you ask me. Accusations and counter accusations, but the truth and the reality remains there was an attempted bomb in a hotel in Rivers State, which Fubara is coming to say that this is more like wanting the federal government to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State. How
they are pushing this too far.
Who exactly?
The leaders of that state are pushing this too far. Now, the leaders have succeeded in bringing the people into the mix of the crisis. The crisis have been issue has affected the people negatively to a point where there's no governance going on in Rivers State as we speak. Every day, just from one trouble to the other, one trouble to the other. Nothing is going on now. They have dragged the people into it. Now, people in society, of three groups. There is this part that have no notion of what is going on, and they will be the ones that want to come out and start looting and all that to make the state ungovernable. And some people have the intention to use them to wrought serious havoc so that the crisis will near, and then the government, the central government, the sovereign, will take a decision as to what will happen. They are pushing this so far. I'm very sure that in the next week executive council meeting, that issue will come to the front burner and they will take a decision in the next 1 week. Because what is going on in Rivers State is, this is how the South is caught into the covenant of destruction. Before now, the South it had everything going well for them, business and everything. Through IPOB, to the federal government said the federal government did arrest Nnamdi Kanu, did not arrest Nnamdi Kanu. Before you know it, people started forming subgroups, sub-criminal groups, and then cash onto the crisis to further do damage to that part. Rivers State is at the verge of that too. They have unwittingly allowed selfishness. They are leaders who have mismanaged their resources to drag them into these sub-criminal groups. Who start to set up, they'll start to set up sub-criminal groups now. One will tell you they are for Fubara. The other will tell you they are for Wike. And when they show up, police will be largely confused, because it will be that these people have a right to be agitated. But that right to be agitated, under it, some persons have created criminal groups that will successfully carry out attacks within that state. And before the police will get a hold of it, things would have broken down irretrievably. That is why we said the other time that Fubara, having said he is going to allow the administrators to take over the management of the local government, why did he go and bring caretaker committees again?
So the issue now is him bringing caretaker committees.
Is that not what the local government chairmen are contesting? That is exactly what they are contesting. They said that their tenure is still running.
Which we all know is not.
It's not.
Yes.
They say that tenure is still running. Now, let's put that aside. Let's assume that was them being ambitious. Okay? By the efflution of time, their tenure has expired. Now, the statement he made that the administrators should take over, those administrators, they are largely the followers of the local government chairman. They were working together now, before now. So that was pacifying. That looks like that was an amenable situation. So if you have allowed that, let them continue. Of course, those ones will be informing the local government chairman what is going on. They will be in the know. But what did Fubara do? You know, he turned out the next day, brought in caretaker committee. After the day he swore them in, the next day, he brought in auditors to come and audit the outgoing ones. What do you expect? It's a recipe for violence, because now they are the edge. They suddenly remember that, wait a minute, our tenure has not even expired. The State House Assembly made a law to extend it. The court said the State House Assembly does not have a right, and now we're on appeal. Appeal has not determined our fate. So they are now trying to make sure that the caretaker committees don't resume. You understand? The chairman of the caretaker don't resume, so they don't have to write report, and no audit will happen. That's this crisis you are seeing. So it's to disrupt all that, so that there will be no issue whatsoever. You are not going to come to a point where, since they are out now, you begin to send petition to the EFCC to pick them one after the other.
Very true. But the bomb scare is actually pushing the envelope. And the Commissioner for Health in Rivers State came up to say that the culprit in question, lost his upper limb. And if cited in any medical facility, they should report to the Nigerian police. The question is, how do you think we can better solve this problem? Because if it's going towards the angle of bombing and scare of violence, how do you think we can better solve this problem amicably?
I want to hope that those who hold the levers of power are seeing what's going on, and that they will be fair, just and equitable in working towards a solution. How do I mean? Institutions of government that should have helped to douse tension are clearly partisan. The police gave an order and said local government workers should not protest. They wanted to protest. Yes. Then the workers shared their protest. The next thing, another group was protesting. Police didn't tell them, don't protest.
In fact, received.
Then that same group went to Hotel Presidential is to Port Harcourt, what the likes of Echo Hotel is to Lagos.
By the Road.
On Aba Road. The dynamite went off. It's just that the person who detonated the dynamite, they've discovered him.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they took him to what is previously BMH. It's a tertiary hospital.
Okay.
He went there. The doctors looked at him. They said it was car accident. They looked at him and said this couldn't have been car. So they quickly called the state government and informed them.
Wow.
The Commissioner of Health went there and they said, okay, fine. There were about 7 of them that took him there. All of them disappeared. Only one person is is there with him in the hospital. So he will have questions to answer. See, the thing is this: if you want to play politics this way, no one single person has a monopoly of violence. And if this thing breaks over the brain, even the police will run away.
Very true.
We've seen River State in the past. It's not a new thing. That look, we've seen worse. What's happening? What Wike and what's going on in River State today is small. Wike's own masters did worse than what Wike did, and people survived it. I was in River State that time. Do I endorse violence? Of course not, because it doesn't do anybody any good at the end of the day. But do we need to go this far? Where they are right now is a case where there must be a winner and a loser, and the cause will be in blood. Unfortunately, where they're driven this whole matter to, because even those who ought to come in as arbiters have taken sides very clearly. Yeah, so we are heading to a place where, and forget about what any court is going to say. It's not court matter. We are heading to a place where there will be a clear winner and a clear loser, and the consequence will be violence and bloodshed.
Of course.
I would have, because you see, the fact is that nobody wants to listen to anybody. Rivers Sellers tried to intervene the other time. They didn't want to talk to. Even Governor Fubara wasn't willing to open up. He thought that he could mend fences with his boss. Because look, till today when we ask what is the problem, nobody knows what the issue is. If what is the problem, there's no clear problem.
Nobody has ever said anything about
it. Has anyone said anything? So they call Fubara, come. He said no. He thought he could mend fences with his boss. You know when Fubara meant well actually, because he went to Abuja, signed a very skewed peace deal, came out with that and said it's not a death sentence, that he was going to live by it. Now organically the whole thing has broken down. What is the problem? The problem is that there is a battle for the soul of the state, and right now it is not just Wike versus, it is Wike versus not just Fubara, but all those who feel that Fubara's governorship is their own governorship.
Oh, okay.
So they will do everything they can
to protect.
Push. Yes, that's what's going on. But we pray that sooner than later they'll be able to solve this matter out and there'll be peace. Because if it went beyond this point, it has already got to. I mean, you want to bomb?
That is actually taking it too far. You know, and as this rages on, unfortunately, but funnily, the IPOB are already hoping to make inroads into River State, and you can see where that will possibly take us to. But quickly and in 60 seconds, so let's talk about Daily Trust headline story: Niger mining pit collapse, over 30 still trapped 3 weeks after. Isn't this a shame? Isn't this a shame?
Trapped
3 weeks after.
Barrister, they use a fine word. They say trapped. At least they trapped, but they've been buried.
Tell me, this couldn't have happened in any other country.
This was going on, and the governor, his deputy, the speaker, and deputy speaker all traveled for Hajj in Saudi Arabia. This is going on, and the minister of minerals is presenting gold bars to the president. You see, when a country has lost shame, when sometimes you tell me privately and say, I should not be too pessimistic. But the fact is that when you try to make things up for the government, then they turn around and do something cataclysmically worse.
When they traveled, I did say here that
on this show,
yes, that in times of emergency, what do you do? Look at section 305 of the Constitution. I used pestilence that day, or the outbreak of disease, not knowing that we're going to have an emergency situation as severe as this. Okay? Now, who is going to take decisions? Who is going to stand in for the state and do what they ought to? That is why the situation is still the way it is today now. Okay? So, you see, any place where the people are an afterthought, anywhere in the world where you lead people and your focus is not on them. Your focus is on one Hajj. Your focus is on how to travel so that you get extra codes. You just want to travel so that they will vote funds for it, so that you have money and all that. You don't care about the people. That's what you get. So we need to reorientate our politicians. They should know that sovereignty, that power they have, belongs to the people. Belongs to the people. How long are we going to say this? That it is because of the people that you are in leadership. How long are we going to say it? So until we come to that point where the people will, in the middlemen today, my case is on how the people should go and write their own story.
Yes, sir.
they should go and write their own story. The Kenyans are out there now.
Exactly.
They're writing their
own story, and the president is
Yes,
has
so
no excuse.
If you allow another man to write your story for you, he will write falsehood.
Very true. Well, this is just about the size we have for this segment. And love to say thank you to Pastor Van Sufeli and Cyril Abaku. And just to let you know that both gentlemen will be here to take us on our main conversation also for today. But when we return, El-Rufai heads to court over fraud allegations leveled against him by the Kaduna State House of Assembly. That in a jiffy. Please don't go